Hello, on behalf of all of us at World Business Chicago and ChiBizHub, we welcome you to today's webinar. Our topic today is The Power is in Your Pivot, an opportunity to hear how resource providers and entrepreneurs are meeting the challenges of these changing times. For other webinars and more information, we invite you to visit our online portal, chibizhub.com/COVID-19 support. It is my pleasure to invite Jasmine Garcia, Business Resource Manager of ChiBizHub, to begin today's conversation. Jasmine, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. My name is Jasmine Garcia. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about ChiBizHub. ChiBizHub is the city's online portal that links expert service providers to Chicago's small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups looking to start, grow, or scale their business. In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, we quickly shifted our work to include webinars like today, providing a forum where business owners, operators, and our business resource providers can get up to date and can get information up to date in real time and get the chance to have their questions answered and connect with other business owners. I welcome you to visit our online portal, ChiBizHub.com, and check out all the resources that we have. I also want to include in the wake of everything that happened with the protests and the looting, we also included another section on our COVID-19 research page that provides small businesses with additional resources specifically from the looting and what have you. Thank you, and it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague Kendra Thomas, who will kick it off now.
Thank you, Jasmine. So as Jasmine mentioned, my name is Kendra Thomas. I serve as Business Resource Manager for ChiBizHub, and my pronouns as well will be she, her, and hers. Today, we have an awesome panel. We are so excited to bring some of our great resource providers throughout the city of Chicago, as well as our entrepreneurs and business owners together to share some of their stories. So today we have Alfonso Barrera, who is the founder of Hispanic Pro Network, that will be joining us. We also have Ms. Amber Marie Green. She is the president of One Business Chicago, and she is known as one of the premier photographers in the city of Chicago. And we also have with us Mr. Jeremy Holston. He is the director of the LGBT Chamber of Commerce. After we hear from each of these individuals on what they've done to pivot their businesses, we will have an opportunity for a Q&A section. So if you have not had an opportunity to share some of your questions, please do so during the Q&A. I do want to share a bit of information about our first panelist, Mr. Alfonso Barrera, so you can learn more about his background. Again, I mentioned that Alfonso is the founder of Hispanic Pro, the Hispanic Professional Network. Hispanic Pro is the largest network of Latino professionals in the state of Illinois and Wisconsin. Hispanic Pro exists to promote business, networking, and employment opportunities for diverse professionals. Hispanic Pro has become a valuable resource for the Latino business community and corporations seeking to hire a multicultural workforce across the United States. With over 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, and social media, Alfonso is a highly visible advocate for entrepreneurship, corporate diversity and inclusion, and a proud supporter of some of Chicago's most prominent philanthropic organizations. He has been recognized throughout the years with awards for numerous Best in Business, Leadership, and Volunteerism achievements. In addition to serving as a business mentor, Alfonso is the vice chairman of diversity and inclusion for the Chicago chapter of SCORE. Most recently, Alfonso was honored as chairman of the Emeritus of the National Latino Education Institute, NELI Emerging Leaders Board. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that information. And I am going to actually turn it over to Alfonso, who is going to actually be our first panelist and share with you a little bit about what Hispanic Pro has done to pivot their business during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you, Alfonso.
Thank you, Kendra, and thank you everyone that's joining us here in the webinar today, and also ChiBizHub and World Business Chicago for the invitation. I greatly appreciate it, and my fellow panelists, so thank you so much. I'm going to start off by just giving a brief overview of Hispanic Pro as it was, as it is now. So Hispanic Pro is a Hispanic professional network. A lot of what Kendra said is on the slide. We're on our 17th year of operations, and we are the largest network of Latino professionals in the state of Illinois and Wisconsin. So throughout our history, we've produced 650 professional development events for corporations seeking to hire diverse talent and looking to connect their products and services to the specific niche of individuals. Next slide. So I want to go over some 2019 highlights because these are some accomplishments for Hispanic Pro that I always reflect on and see how am I going to make the Hispanic Pro, the organization, the company better for next year. How are we going to serve our clients better? Because we have two clients. The clients are the corporate partners that we have that partner up with us, but also our event attendees that come to our person-to-person recruitment events, networking events, business development forums that we engage with ERGs to produce. So we do have two clients that we have to be intentional in regards to addressing their needs. So for the year of 2019, we had 3,115 attendees in the state of Illinois for our events and 1,057 in Wisconsin. So there's quite a bit of amount of corporate partners that we had for 2019, but they're listed there for the Chicago market and also for Wisconsin. Next slide. So for 2020, these are the companies that we have, we are working with. We have money in-house. So these are companies that before the whole COVID and the world turned a different page, right, of what we were expecting. These are all organizations that were on our calendar, whether here in Chicago or in Milwaukee, that we have the responsibility to make them whole and also create programming where there's a win-win situation for both of us, and they feel that the best use of their investment in Hispanic Pro is performed. So it's a big task for me because each different organization has different needs, and they have different metrics, parameters, different initiatives that they want to fulfill within the organization, so that their employees are participating in external activities for DNI, but also engaging with DNI groups from other corporations. So these are the organizations that for 2020 we have on deck. So as far as what we do for them, we have a weekly email newsletter that goes out to, we're at about 85,000 subscribers. So actually, since COVID, we were seeing before COVID, we were seeing a drop in our email subscriber base, but now that actually has jumped up by about 13,000 subscribers because people are in need of information. So people who had unsubscribed before are now resubscribing because people have to work from home, and not only that, but they need that information. They need information when it comes to professional development, business news articles. If they got laid off or got furloughed, what's next for them in regards to transitioning to a new industry, transitioning to a new company. So all those types of articles are featured on Hispanic Pro, and they're highlighted in our weekly email newsletter. So exclusive email blasts, that's part of the marketing campaigns that we do for our clients. Our website. So our website, currently we have about 350 to 400,000 unique visitors a month. So, and that actually has spiked up probably about 20% since the whole coronavirus epidemic. We have our jobs board. So we work with over 170 companies that post their job listings with Hispanic Pro, that are intentional in their recruitment, their job postings that are geared to hiring diverse professionals in all kinds of different industries, whether it's STEM, banking and finance, sales and marketing. We have those job postings. So anyone that's looking for a job that's in here in this webinar, please visit the HispanicPro.com and you'll see the jobs board tab on the top of the website. And again, our business forums, recruitment events, and networking events, this has actually become a lesser part of our business when it comes to revenue, but more impactful and meaningful when it comes to our business to business, our face-to-face networking, because once you get to a certain level of business experience, you need those face-to-face connections. You need to have a solid um, group of people that you can depend on, people that trust on you, people that you can do a favor for, and in return they will do a favor for you when you need it. So and that's what a business relationship is. It's built on trust. It's something that takes time. That's why we produce these type of events, because we are very intentional in people meeting more than once, seeing each other more than once. And not only that, but we also advertise and promote the events of our great partners, such as ChiBizHub, so that they're not only meeting through our network, but they're meeting through other networks. Because the thing is that, and this is speaking for myself, but I think anyone would say that they want to see someone that they're working for themselves as much as what you do to improve your situation, improve your work situation. So in which case, if I'm going to help someone, it's going to be someone that I always see that they're out and about and they're always doing things for themselves. So I feel more comfortable and informally endorsing that person for a job posting, perhaps, or a job listing that they have, or making an informal introduction of a hiring manager than otherwise they wouldn't have had. And then our traditional social media and marketing that we've been doing for the last 15 years. So, and that keeps growing. The impact keeps also being amplified, reaching, actually, Chicago is our first market when it comes to our social media marketing, all the campaigns that we run. But after that, the West Coast, San Francisco, the Bay Area, that's our second largest audience. So even though we don't have a presence out there physically, we are impacting the Latino business community out there by having them engage with us through our newsletter, through our social media. So we're grateful to have them, and we can't wait to have a presence out in San Francisco. Actually, this year we have started producing events in Dallas, Texas, and unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to put the brakes on that. But we had two very successful International Women's Day events in the month of March in Dallas and Irving, and then we came back here to do one for us here with the University of Phoenix here in Chicago, and then literally after that event, everything shut down. So we're happy that we were able to get in one last event in Chicago. But before that, we had already performed 5 different types of external activity events. So we were on the move, even though it was still early in the year. But then we had to make a pivot. So this is what our in essence, this is what our events look like. Our person-to-person events. Great picture of ERG group here from Chicago company, US Cellular, and this was at LinkedIn. If we can go to the next slide. This is what again a typical Hispanic Pro event looks like. Our outdoor events, something like these are our quarterly events where we get about 350, 400 people in attendance. So we are used to producing big events for people to socialize, network, and make connections. So, but this is where we had to make the pivot because of the way the world is today. So just a little reminder of how our 2019 looked. Next slide. Discussion panels like that. And now this is where we're at today. March 2020 is where we started producing the webinars. Now I have some history with producing webinars because of being the vice chair of diversity and inclusion for SCORE. Zoom was an initiative that we had enacted probably 2 years beforehand in regards to our members not being restricted by geography to get free business mentoring. So in which case I was able right when that right after that weekend where the governor put that hard stop on social events and a stay-at-home order, we were able to pivot and then go into the webinars and the virtual events. Next slide. So here is where we are today. So we've produced 15 webinars. We've had 17 virtual networking happy hours because we still have to do that. People like to connect, have a cocktail in their hand, although now it's virtually. But it's an escape for them, and we do them on Fridays at 5:00. So this is a good way to put an end to the work week, even though it's from home, but people still appreciate it. So we've had in total 32 virtual activities since COVID-19 and the stay-at-home order. For each webinar that we produce, we average about 100 plus attendees. Some of them we've had with topics such as returning to work and our diversity inclusion. We've had upwards of 300 attendees. So, but it's good to have 100 is a good manageable number, and we'll take that, and that's what we've been averaging. So in total we've had 6,000 total webinar attendees, and this is our Zoom broadcast plus the Facebook Live, which is also simultaneously broadcasted when we do the webinars. So for the happy hours, we've had 400 plus total attendees, and these are folks that I manually screen each one of them, just because of since Zoom has had a propensity for being hacked and having hackers go into meetings. What we did and this is a tip for other organizations to do the same thing, in the registration forms, ask more detailed questions about the registration. That puts off people that might want to hack your meeting, or also probably shouldn't belong there. So make your registration form longer. You're not going to lose any intentional people that want to be in the meeting. You're not going to lose them, and not only that, but it gives you peace of mind that you'll be able to run a meeting, run a happy hour, and not have a fear of hacking. So it drastically minimizes that. This is our next event, which we're hosting actually tomorrow with the BACP. So which is great. Another strategic partner here with the City of Chicago, with the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the Better Business Bureau. So instead of doing the face-to-face events and producing advertisements that really resonate with them, this is what our advertisements look like now, where we have to we feature our guests. We feature this is the first time that I put myself out there as a moderator of my own events, because before I would always have social influencers, lots of folks from the media, from local media, anchor men and women that would be the presenters of my event. So I was always kind of in the background, but now because of COVID and the situations that we're in, and we can't be face to face. Now my face. You'll see it a lot in the webinars, and I gotta say I like it. I like it because I can control the conversation, and it only not only that, but it also makes it gets me to engage with our featured guests that otherwise I wouldn't be able to do, because I was running around making sure that our events that that everyone was felt welcomed, and no one was standing in a corner by themselves and not interacting with anyone. So now I don't have to worry about that. But now my only concern, and actually it's a pleasure to engage with the folks that I see throughout throughout the business community. But now I get to interview them, kind of, and ask them questions that I think that I believe our attendees are seeking. So this is our next event, which actually takes place tomorrow at 3 p.m. So this is what networking. This is what external activities for ERGs. For folks that don't know what an ERG stands for, that's an external resource group for a corporation. For now, this is what it looks like, and I think that this will be the new normal for the rest of the year. If anything changes, I would say probably September will be the first time that we get back to pivoting from virtual to in-person, person-to-person events. But I also I want to be, and I've gone through my liability coverage and everything to make sure that and not only that, but also thinking of what I'm going to do so that you got to think about your liability as a company. What if someone gets infected from one of your in-person events? There's just so many variables that are not. That's why we're being limited to 10 people or half of capacity for a restaurant. But I've seen some pictures over the weekend where there's already places that have 200 people inside of a restaurant, and to me that's kind of scary because it's the resurgence of a second wave of COVID and people getting sick, and we all know that the African American community, the Latino community, are the propensity for us to suffer from COVID and suffer a deathly outcome from it is very much real. And so I want to do as much as possible to prevent that, and we can return to business as usual, but in its time. And for now, our industry specific events that we do for ERGs, this is what it's going to look like. Next slide. Oh, and that's it. I thought I had another slide for the happy hours, but the same thing goes with the happy hour networking, which will be the same thing. The big events that we have, 300 and 400 people, those are the ones that really are going to have to take a hiatus for now. Again, it's all about safety, and also safety and being purposeful in the sense of in caring about the people that that have become loyal followers of Hispanic Pro, and I care about them. I care about their well-being. I care about their safety. I do care about their professional development, of course, but we all have to be respectful of each other. We all have to be respectful of the situation, right? And we're on phase 3 now of opening the city of Chicago, but which is I think is amazing. So that small businesses get a chance to get businesses and survive. But the fact is that coronavirus is still out there, COVID, and the deadly consequences of it. So that hasn't disappeared, and it's still there. And I think if we're good business leaders and good businesses, and respect all the social distancing rules and everything that goes with that I think that we're all together are going to come ahead of this. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this.
No problem. Thank you, Alfonso. That was really great information. We hope that those of you that have tuned in are definitely considering attending some of the networking events. Now I would like
Kendra, and I just wanted to add, please share my information if anyone wants it. And my, and I forgot to add that my pronouns are he, him, and his. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Our next panelist will be Miss Amber Marie Green. So when you think of Miss Amber Marie Green, some of you may know her as your photography bae. Captures Chicago's most iconic figures, events, and stories as lead photographer of Amber Marie Green Photography. Amber embodies the art of storytelling through her lens that leaves lasting memories and subjective thoughts. Because her photography skills are multifaceted, these include portraits, product, events, property, as well as fine art. Her work has been seen in major publications such as Forbes, Ebony, Rolling Out, Black Enterprise, Chicago Voyage, and many others. She served as a media director and program director for workforce development, which catalyzed her passion of accurate digital storytelling regarding the backbone of Chicago and its people. Amber sees and uses her gift of photography to galvanize her community, who are severely under-resourced. She apologetically calls out media outlets by using her camera to get in front of their ill-portraited narrative of people of color. Thank you so much, Amber, for joining us. And we definitely want to hear your story and what you've been doing as a photographer to pivot during this pandemic.
Well, first, thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, ChiBizHub, and just everybody just for having me. I am completely honored, especially just with my fellow panelists. A lot of people know me. I've been a photographer for about 6 years, and it has really opened doors for me, which actually led to me being the president of One Business Chicago, which I happily accept back in November. So when our CEO, Jim Allen, asked me to be the president of One Business Chicago, I looked at him, I said, are you sure? Do you know who I am? You know, because, you know, I'm very, I speak truth, whether it's what I see, whether it's how I feel, what I observe, I speak truth. And, you know, me and Kendra have had many conversations. I want to touch on One Business Chicago first because it's a business consultant firm that we specialize in advertising, marketing, branding, and development and bookkeeping to fill institutional voids for businesses. We are for profit, so not only did we want to scale and increase the bottom line for our clients, but for ourselves as well because we have our own individual businesses. But once COVID hit, the intention changed, because we obviously saw a lot of businesses be affected. And what bothered me was the fact is a lot of our businesses did not qualify for these loans, which brought up a bigger problem. We have so many workshops and classes to aid in entrepreneurship. Why are all of us, and I'm including myself, we're not equipped and have our affairs and paperwork in order to qualify for these loans? Why did a lot of us didn't have either was incorporated or had a business account or had a good relationship with our bank, or a lot of us didn't even know what we needed in order to qualify for these loans? So the problem was bigger. And so we pivoted from growing One Business Chicago as a company to creating a community, actually through a Facebook group page, to not only highlight everybody from all walks of life when it comes to a business, whether you're a yoga instructor, whether you're a caterer, a chef, if you're in the cannabis industry, if you're an attorney, if you're an accountant. Our goal was to not only highlight everybody from every business in Chicago, but to provide tangible resources that you can either scale your business, get incorporated, get legitimized. So if another opportunity for a loan, it can become available, everybody will qualify. But I had to be honest first. There's a problem. There's a bigger problem with all these workshops, all these entrepreneur workshops, and a lot of us didn't qualify because we didn't have our paperwork in order. So I spoke very honestly and brutally honest about just being honest where we at right now. So it made me realize we have a lot of work to do. On the photography side, when the governor issued the stay-at-home order, I know everybody was scared. Nobody knew what was going on. It was just like a knee-jerk reaction with me. I had a mask. I started going out there and taking pictures. No time in history has the city of Chicago been locked down. So I was literally in the middle of State Street at 9 a.m. on a Monday during rush hour traffic, literally walking down the middle of the street. We all know that it's wall-to-wall congestion, rush hour traffic. I was literally standing in the middle of State Street at 9 a.m. Literally, I could have done cartwheels. So I started taking pictures and I started documenting. I started going to some iconic places. I was busy. But then I decided to go south during the pandemic. And what was alarming was it was business as usual, because a lot of the essential workers are from marginalized communities. A lot of them still had to go to work. A lot of them still work for the city. At the time, the week that it happened, a lot of them was not allowed to wear masks. A lot of these marginalized communities have about 3 or 4 households in one. So imagine going to work, going downtown, if you work for any government job, at the time not wearing a mask, then coming back home and exposing you might be living with your grandmother, your mother, and your child. So I just saw the huge gap when it comes to that. And I just decided to go out there with my camera and document it. I did the same thing with the protests. Something told me to go out and capture the protests because I have a huge problem how mass media use propaganda to portray Black and brown people in a negative light. So I decided to go out there and just take pictures of the protests, and I took a photo of, I happened to capture a mother holding up her infant son, and she was encouraging him to look at the protests, but she was doing it with tears. And when I saw that, I just started crying. But the photographer me, I made sure I captured the photo right away. And I just posted the photo and the story, and then it went viral. I think in a day it had like 150,000 shares. You know, right now the photo's been published in Good Morning America, the Today Show, E! News. I have different other publications reaching out. I have people now from all over the world, but specifically mothers. I want to make this real clear. I have a lot of mothers from all different nationalities, from Italy, from Japan, from London, from Hawaii, who is connected with that photo, because I don't care what race you are. No mother wants to live in fear about something happening to their child. And that photo resonated with everybody. But that came from me pivoting. It's not, and just going out there with my camera because I just wanted to make sure truth was told. So I don't know if there's a next photo. Can you move to the next slide, please? So the next photo. As you see, I went out there during COVID, and the picture in the middle, a lot of people was upset with this photo, with the police officer smiling, because a lot of people thought he was being condescending. It was actually the opposite. During the protest, I was taking pictures. I didn't even realize I took the picture of him. And then I look in the camera, and then he's walking up to me, and he said, "Can I see my photo?" And I kind of laughed. He was like, I figure I like the move. And then he patted me on my shoulder. He said, "We're on your side, right?" I said, "No, I didn't know." He said, "Well, we are." I didn't finish the story on social media, but I'll finish it. After he said, "We are on your side," he said, "A good cops hate nothing more than a bad cop." I said, "Then why you guys are not saying nothing or doing anything?" He took a deep breath. He said, "We are now." And that was the exchange that him and I had. But you're not going to see that in mass media. So all I can do is tell the truth with my camera. You see me in my car with the black mask on. That was the day that the governor issued the stay-at-home order. While everybody was going to the grocery store to run back in, I grabbed my camera and ran back out and documented the fear, the ravaged grocery stores. I happened to go to the Silver Room where Eric Williams was, and he's on the phone trying to make sure his employees are okay and try to do a GoFundMe to make sure he had to let his employees go. So I made sure I captured the fear and the chaos and things like that. I went to Leo High School where the principal, Shaka Ross, he got his team together. They started giving out gift cards, jewel gift cards to the parents of his boys. It's an all-boy Catholic high school. He started giving out gift cards to the parents and was every day giving out food to the community. I went into and captured an empty school. I was in the middle of a high school on a Tuesday afternoon at 1:00 in the afternoon, and I captured an empty hallway because it's never happened. You're not going to see this in the media. So I just want to make sure I go out and tell our story. Is there a next slide? You can go to the next one, I'm sorry. Also, what I did as a photographer is I pivot because I do a lot of portraits. I work with a lot of political figures, celebrities, athletes, but I pivot. Obviously, people were scared of being around other people. So I pivoted to real estate photography. The realtor, all they got to do is let me in. And so I just started taking pictures of property, but guess what? Restaurants were still open. Restaurants' pictures had to be of high quality now because everybody was ordering online. So I started marketing to restaurants. Make sure your photos look good. Make sure your photos look appetizing. Show that you're investing in your business, because everybody's now ordering with Grubhub and Uber Eats. So I pivoted from shooting people to doing real estate and food photography. Next slide. There is one. I didn't want to. I think that's it. Yeah. So that's it. So right now, far as photography, business is picking up now. Actually, it started picking up when I started promoting social distancing headshots, because a lot of people, while they're in the house, started their business. They started their websites or realized they needed headshots. But regarding One Business Chicago, right now we are back to the drawing board, because we went back to the drawing board with COVID. Unfortunately, we're back to the drawing board because a lot of our businesses, and I captured that too with my camera, a lot of businesses on the west loop and the south side got looted really bad. A lot of people are talking, everybody has their opinions. Everybody has their opinions whether businesses are coming back or they're okay because they have insurance. Truth be told, a lot of these businesses may not recover, because a lot of them probably got rid of their insurance to cut the bottom line because of COVID. Now their business got looted, or their insurance don't even cover writing and loot damage. So now what? So right now, One Business Chicago, we're back to the drawing board to see what resources we can provide everybody. So, thank you for having me. But yeah, that's where we are right now with One Business Chicago.
No, that is phenomenal, Amber. I mean, just the photos that you've been able to capture and the stories that you've shared with us, and the impact that you've made on Chicago. I know you probably didn't even realize or think that you would be making history with the photo that you took.
And to say this, which makes me even emotional now. Somebody called me the Gordon Parks of our time. It's about to make me cry now.
Wow.
That's an honor.
Powerful.
I don't even feel worthy of that, but I accept it. And yeah.
That is powerful. Wow. Thank you for sharing. I mean, we appreciate all the work that you do. And that was phenomenal to see those photos. Wow.
Thank you.
So our next panelist has definitely been a very, very, very great partner for ChiBizHub. Mr. Jeremy Holston is currently the director of the LGBT Chamber of Commerce of Illinois. And this is the premier voice for more than 500,000. Did you guys hear that? I'm sorry, 50,000. Let me correct that. 50,000 LGBTQ business owners across Illinois. In Jeremy's role, he leverages corporate, community, and government partnerships to advocate on behalf of LGBTQ business owners and employees. In addition, he provides support and professional development to a growing network of nearly 300 member businesses. Prior to this role, he worked as a fundraising consultant on capital campaigns that raised nearly $500 million, and as an assistant to the Deputy Chief of Staff in the Office of Governor Pat Quinn. Jeremy received his MPA from the University of Illinois at Springfield and his BA in Communications from Alabama State University. Welcome, Jeremy. We are excited to have you and to hear all of the great things that you're doing with your businesses.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. So super excited to be here today. Definitely a hard act to follow after Amber. That was definitely extraordinary update that you provided. I did see that photo as well on Facebook. Had no idea that I was on this call with such royalty, such celebrity. So this is so cool and has really made my day. And then to sort of add just a quick little bit of tidbit, Amber talked about the impact that so many South and West Side businesses suffered through some of the looting. Many of you may have just seen this also, but I just saw, you may be familiar with My Block, My Hood. They have just announced that they have $1 million. They've raised $1 million to be able to support businesses that have been impacted by looting and rioting. So definitely be sure to contact them if your business does fall into that category. They are also, it sounds like, making an effort to focus on those businesses that are actually providing sort of needs for the community. So more healthcare, like shops versus like a liquor store. So, but definitely do your research and look there for your own. But again, hello everyone. Happy Pride. Excited to be here. My pronouns are he, him, his. And we can move on to the next slide. Just to give you a quick overview, our chamber next year will be a 25-year-old organization. If you are in Chicago and identify as LGBTQ or just an active media fan, you're likely familiar with the name Tracy Bame. Tracy is one of the founders of the chamber, and as you all know, has been a great advocate for the LGBTQ community and businesses in general. In these past nearly 25 years, we've grown to not just be an organization that provides networking for LGBTQ owned businesses and allies, but also making sure that we provide professional development, marketing, advocacy, as well as access to the LGBT Business Enterprise certification. Our members mirror pretty much the network that Alfonso talked about for his community. A lot of really core businesses, B2B folks who are really here to help you achieve maximum business success. So next slide. Again, this just provides some of the resources that we provide our members. Marketing, so that includes a listing on our website, which is an extensive directory. It's about 1,600 characters, up to 8 photos, links to your YouTube page, links to your social media, as well as ability for folks to contact you directly from our website. Members can also post jobs, deals, and events directly on our website as well. There's also the opportunity to tap into networking. Of course, prior to COVID, we hosted our co-hosted nearly 70 events. And so those things include our monthly Mix and Mingle Happy Hour, which is every second Tuesday, our annual boat cruise, which we consider the premier networking event for LGBTQ professionals of the summer, as well as some other great programming as well. There's also an advocacy component, again, making sure that the voices of LGBTQ business owners and professionals are heard, and also just championing their needs. And so right now, hopefully many of you are certified as minority or women-owned or other businesses. And so, as I said earlier, we assist in helping LGBT businesses get certified, which we'll talk about here in a moment. Right now, the city of Chicago, Cook County, the state of Illinois, and a number of government entities does not currently recognize LGBT-owned businesses in their supplier diversity programs. And so even if you just want to respond to an RFP and say, hey, I'm LGBT, make sure that you count me, not an opportunity to do so. So a lot of our work is making sure that your voice is counted and heard at those government levels. Again, we provide workshops around professional development. One of those pieces also includes our LGBTQ Biz Bootcamp. To our knowledge, the LGBTQ Biz Bootcamp is the only program in Chicago and Illinois that provides a cohort development program for LGBTQ entrepreneurs. And so we'll be hosting our second cohort in the fall. So definitely, if you are an early stage LGBTQ business, we'd love to have you a part of that opportunity. I'll talk about the certification next. And then, like Alfonso, we also do a great wealth of resources, making sure that our corporate partners are tapped into resources to support their LGBTQ employees, or they have the right resources to engage LGBTQ businesses in their own supplier diversity programs. So next slide. So again, this just talks a little bit about the certification that's available to LGBT-owned businesses, and the requirements are pretty much similar to other certifications that might be available to you. Again, our belief, as well as our peers, is that however many of these identities that you have and however many certifications that you can get all of them and as many that will benefit you. For the LGBT Business Enterprise certification, the business must be at least 51% or more LGBT owned, headquartered in the United States, formed as a legal business, then independent from any non-LGBT owned business. One great thing about being a chamber member is that you do not have to pay the $400 application fee to get certified. And so membership with the chamber starts as low as $195. And so it's a win-win to become a member, then automatically waive that $400 fee in getting certified. And so next slide there. This slide just provides you an update of some of the corporate companies that are locally working with us. One great thing about the certification is that it is national. The National Chamber has nearly 300 corporate companies that are partners to them. So of course, even beyond locally, you can tap into those resources, but these are folks here locally who are committed to our efforts. Some overlaps in terms of what Alfonso showed us. We are partnered also with Molson Coors, Rush, and soon to be US Cellular as well. So excited that there are so many corporate companies supporting great broad inclusion across Chicago. So next slide. This just provides some quick updates on how we pivoted during this time. Of course, you know, we had always thought about doing more virtual programming, but hadn't really done that in the past. And so COVID was like, hey, here you go, let's get with it. And so we got with it like everyone else. And so for the month of April, we sometimes I can be kind of savvy about coming up with a name, but some days it's like I just don't have the energy. And so we simply did an April Blitz. So every single day for the month of April, we did a different online or virtual activity. And so we were either on Facebook or Instagram for 2 weeks where we did something called Tea Time. So for those of you who are in the LGBTQ community or just very aware of vernacular from the LGBTQ community, you're probably very familiar with the phrase of spill the tea. And so Tea Time encouraged business owners to spill the tea on what was happening in their business. So we posed a different question every day. And so business owners were encouraged to respond to what was happening in their business and to share advice or resources to other folks in their own challenges. We also did a week of lunch and learns on Zoom. And so again, just good updates, then an industry week as well. We also just became a resource hub, just trying to be a good clearing source for all that information. And now with Pride, just really trying to make sure that folks are thinking about how to celebrate virtual Pride. Again, just making sure that, again, since we can't be together in person, that you have access to tons of resources to do it virtually. So next slide. Just quickly provide some tips for folks as you are thinking about pivoting on your own. So first is, again, just remember to remain in compliance. You know, a lot of it right now, people are like, oh, COVID, you know, we have these awesome masks, we have these great hand sanitizer, we have these hand wipes. And sometimes, you know, I there's a local restaurant in Lakeview called Wild. And they were, when you purchased a to-go order, they were giving you these hand wipes they had made on their own. So it was basically napkins, which was soaked in moonshine. And so the directions said that you can either wipe your hands with it, or you can soak it into a shot bottle and have it as a drink. So I went the more adventurous route and had it as a drink. Hypothetically, if they had, you know, sold it, you know, as a COVID, item to help limit the spread, I don't know if that would have been the right item. So again, just making sure if you do have something that you're saying helps with COVID, just make sure that you're staying in compliance. And same thing really just goes for your own industry. So in terms of insurance, just making sure you're up to date there. And also in terms of your certifications and any listings in terms of websites that you might be on, making sure that all that information is up to date. Again, as you're thinking about pivoting, do your research. Talk to other folks who are in your industries. Find out what they are doing. Find out how much they are charging for things. Of course, one, you don't want to be too low, and you definitely don't want to be too high. And so really make sure you're doing your research to be on par with other folks as well. Where you can, provide demos or prototypes. That way you can get people sort of a taste of what you have created. Of course, this is a new experience or a new tool that you have now developed. And so for some folks, it's going to be, hey, I need to see an example of it before I jump on the board with you. And of course, also, again, research your price model. Again, as you are pivoting, some things just may or may not work in terms of, these new costs and just what your bottom line is. So just make sure to have that in thought. Again, right now, if you are not certified, I definitely encourage you to do so. Definitely with what we're seeing right now in results of George Floyd and even I think just COVID in general, my hope is that corporate companies are going to deepen their commitments to spending with diverse and disadvantaged communities. And so the only way you stand out for that process is to be a certified business. And so making sure that you have cleared those hurdles and have that certification. And then finally, just don't go at it alone. There are organizations like ours, like ChiBizHub, so many others that are here to help you make sure that you are moving forward successfully. So don't go at it alone. Use all the networks and the resources that are available to you. And then I think next is just the final slide. And so feel free to just reach out if you have additional questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremy. We really appreciate that information. I know you've been doing great events. We've had the opportunity to attend some of your events and some of your webinars since COVID-19. So continue the great work. So now we have our Q&A section, and we have a few questions that some of the participants would like to ask. So one question is, how have you been able to stay in touch with your clients or customers these past few months? Did anyone want to take a stab at it? Alfonso?
Can you hear me now? Phone calls. What was old is new now, and I think people appreciate a phone call, but not make that phone call to make a sale. More of, how's it going? How are you? How was the whole COVID thing affecting your company? How is it affecting your role? So definitely not make it intentional. Don't make that call to intentionally sell something, but more making a call so that to show that you intentionally care about that person, right? Because like I said, the fear of being laid off or furloughed is there. I mean, it's still there. So just making yourself available for them, I think is a good touch. It's a nice, classy touch, and it's something that people won't forget, that you made that call during this time.
Jeremy or Amber, do you have any thoughts or recommendations or want to share how you've been connecting with your customers?
Honestly, I just been kind of just more visible on social media. Because one thing I noticed, which is nothing wrong with it, but everybody kind of pivoted the same way to sending out mass mailers, email blasting. Like everybody started selling everything online. And the first thing I'm thinking is like, I am not going to join that because I don't want kind of like what Alfonso said, I don't want to come off salesy because everybody's at home or everybody's pivoting to digital marketing, mass emails. So I just kind of just focused on letting everybody know, hey, I'm out here taking pictures. I'm out here documenting. Or I started just promoting or showing the food photography. And everybody's like, well, can you do my pictures? People started reaching out to me because I didn't bother them or try to be salesy. They just saw that, everybody just saw that I kept moving. I kept working without an ask.
How about you?
So a lot of somewhat similar to what they said. One thing that we did do, we also did a mailer. Again, we think about it, everyone was home during this time. And so, again, it was helpful to, again, not do another email blast, as again, like many of you, I was just going through and just deleting a lot of emails for some part, unless it was from someone um, that was just of value. But a lot of things that they did, we also did start. Boosting and promoting more on social media, as that was something that we hadn't done in the past. And so I don't know if that was helpful, but we have seen an increase in terms of new members. And so I can only assume that that had an impact. I don't know directly, but um, over this month, we would have thought that, we wouldn't have had new members. We usually average about new members, but for the month of May, we had 13 new members. And so
Wow,
exciting for us.
that is exciting. Awesome. Look at that. That's definitely a success story to share.
One thing I want to add is I made my webinars available to the ERGs that I work with. So I sent them a PDF with clickable links in them. So, which is a great resource for them to send out to their members. And like I said, all the topics that we did was social distancing, uh, returning back to work during COVID. I think all webinars that anyone can get some valuable information and some from people that are subject matter experts. So yeah, I sent that email, obviously saying hello, how are you, but then sending them that resource. So and I think that was welcomed, very well welcomed.
Thank you. Those are great examples. We did have two more questions. So the next question, can you all provide any tips for individuals that are looking to move their business to an online platform?
Like that I had mentioned, I volunteer. I'm the vice chair of diversity and inclusion for SCORE Chicago, and SCORE is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. I'm not retired, but I do sit on their executive committee, and that's a great place to start because you get free business mentoring, uh, folks that are true serial entrepreneurs, people that have started businesses, sold them, started another one. So these are all folks that have the business acumen, but also have a proven track record of starting businesses from all kinds of different areas. So I know that we have a great relationship with Jerome and doing mentoring at the LGBTQ headquarters. Unfortunately, now it's we can't be there because of the whole COVID thing. But definitely virtual mentoring it's just as effective. It's just as effective until we can see each other again face to face. So and that's chicagoscore.org. But that's a great free resource to hit up.
I'll share another suggestion, even though I don't have any suggestions for people to contact on it. One thing that I've really have been trying to encourage people to think about is really trying to think about how you can be innovative in terms of what your online sort of website looks like. Traditionally, for the most part, when you think about when someone says going online, it's really just, I'm going to have a website. There's going to be the information listed there, and then you're going to contact me and we're going to agree to something and we'll process it from there. One thing that I think is really cool is like when you think about, Amber, she talked about now being able to take photos for a lot of people who are in real estate. One of our board members is in real estate. And so a lot of his things that he pivoted to doing was virtual home tours. And so I know a lot of you have seen now where like a virtual home tour, it's like where you can actually be in the apartment. It will take you from like one room to the other and you can sort of see what the room looks like. So think about how you can possibly create like a virtual store. Is there a way that people can like virtually enter your store and they can like virtually go to a rack where they can like click on a button or click on a screen and something pops up with a story about what this service is or a demo of what that is, versus just simply having a website with pictures and words on it? Because again, as we're going online, everyone is going to have a very simple website that has pictures and an order button on it. So really just thinking about how you can really be innovative and different with what your online store or just platform looks like.
I don't sell anything online, so I'm gonna tell you what I have observed to a lot of people switching to online sales. I would suggest do your numbers. Are you making a profit when it comes to shipping and handling? Do you have the human capital to make sure you ship to your client on time? Because what I'm noticing is all these stores, all these boutiques, I see on Instagram, I ordered my item 3 weeks ago. You told me the track. I am seeing a lot of that.
Yes.
If you have the number, the money to ship, do you have the human capability to ship? Go to UPS every single day when somebody places an order. Do you really have like the capability financially and the human capital to sell online? Because that's all I'm seeing on social media. When I just click in comments is, where's my order? You said you was going to email me, and it's bad right now.
Thank you, Amber.
Yeah,
One last question that our participants, they wanted to ask. So as a small business owner, should we still be promoting ourselves online even though Chicago is opening back up?
I would say absolutely. I just wanted to go back to what Amber said. I think to call ahead that store and make sure they have that item in stock, because there's a lot of resellers and sellers on Amazon that they wait until they get a certain amount of orders, but you're really not going to get it until August or July. So definitely call that store up and make sure that they have that item that you're looking for. So that way it's not going to take forever for you to get it, but you're going to get it soon. But I believe definitely the online presence, you should have it, because that way, first of all, so that people know that you're still in business, because there's a lot of there's lists that are put together of companies that are in business, restaurants that are still in business, but there's no list of the ones that are not in business anymore. So those destinations that we want to go in and spend our money there, but they just might have closed.
True.
So it's a way of knowing that the lights are still on.
Yes.
I think based on my observation again, and I have a lot of mentors, older mentors, and what I have noticed, and I apologize if I offend somebody, but COVID has shown the strong and the resilience from those who need to step back. And when I say that is, I noticed those that are in business have kept moving. They may not be moving as fast, but they pivoted so fast. Kiana Barber from WDB Marketing, she literally took the bull by me and her called each other. I was like, okay. I said, Kiana, you have the restaurant. She's like, Amber, you have the photography. Let's partner up. As soon as she saw the shooting, she started printing Black-owned businesses to put in the signs to give out. Like, instantly started thinking. A lot of people I know that have the resiliency, they just kept moving. Whether it's even if it's to close down for a moment, to regroup, to go back to the drawing board, whatever it is, keep moving. And that's what I have noticed. So I would say you don't have to necessarily promote yourself for the world to see, but as long as you are working and you are having a plan A, B, C, and D, and just keep moving, because we know this is temporary. We don't know how long it's temporary, but this is temporary.
And going back to what Amber said, the way of doing business has also changed. So like, because I know there's costs in regards to putting a guidebook together or doing something, even if it's online, there's still a cost involved, but that could be something that can be put together in conjunction with a GoFundMe page, right? Because there's a social impact good that happens with that. So so you could say, hey, help us put this together because it's going to help the community. And so this is something that that really you engage people, right? Help us do this for the community. And I think you'll have no shortage of people that would want to help that out because, again, and this helps with Amber's time, with anyone's time, because people that are in mixed media and artists, they need to get paid. They still need to feed their families. They need to make money to pay the bills, all these things. So I think, and specifically in that industry, so many people want things for free. And the thing is that you still have the bills; those still don't stop. Those still come in, and you still have to survive. And I think adding something like a GoFundMe page to something that's going to benefit all. I like, again, you'll have no shortage of people that would want to help out.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. That concludes the Q&A session. So we appreciate your time. Before I turn it over to my colleague, Jasmine, we did want to give you all an opportunity to share. If someone on the call or if someone is viewing the webinar, or if they go back and they actually take a look at the recording, how can they contact you if they are interested in learning more about your work or about your organizations?
For me, it's my name, Amber Marie Green. So my email address is hello@ambermariegreen.com. Once again, my name is Amber Marie Green. So, you can contact me for anything at hello@ambermariegreen.com.
We have a form on HispanicPro.com, but also they can just email HispanicPro@HispanicPro.com, and someone will send that to me. So, and I'll be able to see it.
And then again, thanks everyone for letting me be a guest here with you today. You can visit us directly at www.lgbtcc.com, and you'll also see an event that we're hosting tomorrow, something like normal. So helping a few people navigate the return back to their office and to their business or even their events. So hope to see you guys soon. So thank you again, Kendra and Jasmine, for the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you. Jasmine.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us today. I also want to thank our panelists for this incredibly relevant and fruitful discussion. I hope everyone learned a lot. I do want to let everyone know that there will be a recording of today's discussion. Please share far and wide. Also, please know that we're going to share it on our social media and also our special COVID-19 resource portal at ChiBizHub.com/COVID-19 support. We also encourage you all to follow us on social media for links of future webinars, grants, and information to help you better run your business during these challenging times. On behalf of World Business Chicago and ChiBizHub, we wish you and yours good health and peace of mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.